I'm Mark with Premier Stitching, and I'm going to show you why you need Martelli in your sewing room. Up first, I want to tell you about the Martelli cutting table. Specifically, what I'm going to be working on today is the Martelli Sensational Elite cutting table. And this cutting table will hold a 60 by 30 inch Martelli cutting mat. And what I really like about how it holds the cutting mat, and it's got inserts for it, so it sits completely flat. So there's no drop off on my fabric on either side. The other thing I really like about this cutting table are the lockable casters. So what that means is I can move this table around however I want, lock it into place so it stays there. I also like that it is a height adjustable table, and the old Martelli tables used to just go up and down. This one will actually go up, down, and it'll actually go left and right. Let me show you what that looks like. It can go up to 44 inches tall, so it's perfect for all sizes. For example, I'm 6'3", I can cut at this height all day. Or you can lower it all the way to 30 inches if you want to sit in your sewing chair and cut. The other option I have with these new line of Martelli tables is I can tilt one side up and one side down, or I can tilt the front up and the back down, or the back up and the front down. I have so many options. Let me show you what that looks like. First, I'm going to cut with the table flat. And if you notice while I'm cutting, it's perfectly straight. I'm using my Martelli cutter with my Martelli ruler, and notice my stopping point. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like when I cut with one end down and one end up, and you'll be able to clearly see the difference. So notice we're starting in the same exact place with the same exact fabric. Nothing has changed other than my table has been tilted. And if you notice now, I go at least 6 inches past my end point when the table was flat. Because of this tilt action, it's a lot easier to cut those long strips without having to reach and strain yourself while cutting. Next, let me show you about the actual cutting mat on this Martelli table. Next, I want to talk about the Martelli cutting mat. This specific cutting mat is 60 inches by 30 inches. And let me tell you what I really like about it. I like that this is actually a dual-sided cutting mat. One side is yellow, and it's a yellow so I can put my darker fabrics on it. It's kind of like a color contrasting mat, right? Because the other side is actually purple. So I put my lighter fabrics. Or if I'm using yellow, I definitely want to use this side. If I'm using purple, I definitely want to use the yellow side because it's a lot easier to see. The other thing I really like about this cutting mat is that it sits completely even on the table. So if my fabric's coming off over here, I don't have to worry about a drop off. I also really like that the numbers are on the outside of the axis. So what that means is I don't have to worry about my fabric covering up the numbers. I always know where I'm cutting. The other really cool thing about these Martelli cutting mats is they have angled lines. So 45 and 60 degree angles on both the right and the left side, and concentric square lines, so I can square up my fabric perfect and even every time. So up next, I want to talk about the Martelli rulers. These are great rulers, and they have the same applies to their fussy cuts. So on the back here, you notice it's different than this black. This is actually a non-slip grip. So how it works is when I put it on my cutting mat, I can move it and it just doesn't move. I can run my hand across it and it won't move left, right, up, or down. It will instantly grip my fabric and the cutting mat, so it does all the hard work for me. Next thing I'm going to talk about are the Martelli rotary cutters. Now they have 3 different size cutters, 28 millimeters, 45 millimeters, and the 60 millimeters. And if you notice, my rotary cutters here are 2 different colors. And no, that's not for your political party. Red is right and blue is left-handed. Let me show you a closer look on how these cutters work. So I'm ready to make a cut. So I'm going to grab my Martelli cutter. I'm going to put my finger over the top so I have complete control. And as you can see, my guard is on. So if I want to turn that off, all I have to do is make a little cut on the cutting mat, and it opens it up for me. So I'm going to grab my non-slip ruler, put my hand on it just in case it decides to move, and just follow it all the way down to make my 3.5 by 24 inch strips perfect every time. So up next, I'm going to talk about the Martelli fussy cuts. And actually, when you use a fussy cut, you're actually also going to use the non-slip grip template. And if you're asking me, Mark, what's a fussy cut? All a fussy cut is is where I like a piece of fabric like this owl in Tula Pink, and I want to cut it out specifically for my pattern. I'm just going to use my fussy cut, and I'll show you how to do that. So if I want to fussy cut this lion out of this Tula fabric, it's really easy. Let me show you how to do it. I'm going to grab my fussy cut template. I'm going to set it right about there because I want to cut off a little bit of the bottom of the lion. And I'm going to grab my non-slit template and put it right in the middle. And then right when I have it where I want it, I'm just going to take my fussy cut template off. I'm going to put my left hand on my template, and I'm going to have my right hand with the cutter. And all I'm going to do is follow my template. And if I want, just to make sure I don't cut over multiple layers of fabric, I can move that, turn it, and I want to cut off that little piece of bottom. And then I've got a perfectly fussy cut line I can put in my next quilt. So if you have any questions about Martelli, or you just want to talk to real sewers, give us a call at 1-800-229-8889. And you can also shop our full line of Martelli products at premierstitching.com. We'll see you next time.